Imagine standing on a quiet beach at dawn, the ocean stretching endlessly before you. The waves lap gently against the shore, a timeless rhythm that speaks of ages past. But beneath this serene facade lies a growing menace, almost invisible yet vast enough to threaten the very heart of marine life. Plastic, our modern invention, has invaded every corner of the ocean, from sunlit surface waters to the darkest depths. Today, estimates show that between 75 and 199 million tons of plastic float and sink in the world's seas. This staggering amount grows each year, with an average of 8 to 10 million metric tons entering the ocean annually, the equivalent of a garbage truck emptied into the water every minute. It's a crisis unlike any other, a silent tide choking the blue expanses that have, for millennia, been sanctuaries for life. The plastic isn't just confined to the surface. Most of it breaks down into microplastics, tiny fragments smaller than a grain of rice, that infiltrate the entire marine ecosystem. These microplastics are now found in some of the most remote corners of the ocean, and shockingly, even in the ice of the Arctic and Antarctic. 5 massive garbage patches drift across our oceans, with the largest, known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, spanning an area twice the size of Texas. These swirling masses of floating debris are not just a visual scar. They are ecological bombs ticking quietly beneath the waves. Fish and seabirds mistake plastic for food, consuming hundreds of thousands of particles each year, passing the toxic load up the food chain, eventually reaching us. The ocean is becoming a plastic soup, dense, deadly, and almost irreversible. What makes this unfolding catastrophe even more chilling is the forecast for the future. If current trends continue, by 2050, plastic in the ocean will outweigh all the fish combined. This means an ocean dominated not by the vibrant dance of living creatures but by the cold, synthetic remnants of human consumption. But before we can despair, there's an astonishing twist emerging from the depths. A curious interaction between life and plastic. Nature, in its relentless adaptability, is beginning to respond to this flood of synthetic debris. As if the oceans themselves are awakening to the challenge, strange new dynamics are unfolding. This is the stage for our story, the ocean's first tentative steps toward solving the plastic problem itself. Scientists have started to observe peculiar phenomena, unusual damage and corrosion on underwater objects made of plastic, like submarine cables and buoys. At first, these marks seemed like the work of chemical reactions or mechanical wear. Yet the more researchers looked, the more evidence surfaced of tiny organisms actually feeding on plastic. These aren't just simple microbes but complex communities of specialized bacteria, and even small worms able to break down polymers like polyethylene and PVC. Enzymes these creatures produce can cleave plastic's stubborn chemical bonds, turning what was once thought indigestible into a food source. It's an eerie dance between nature and machine-made material. Could the ocean's smallest life embrace our greatest pollutant as a meal? This newly discovered capacity to digest plastic hints at a broader transformation at work. What if natural selection, pressured by a planet choked in plastic, is driving evolution toward new forms of life that thrive on our waste? Yet this process is far from simple or comforting. As plastic breaks down, it can release toxic chemicals and microparticles, creating a toxic stew. The organisms that consume plastic might themselves become vectors for contamination, causing ripple effects throughout the food web. The mystery grows darker as we watch not just a solution but a shift in the ecosystem, one that could be as devastating as it is miraculous. The ocean's response might be nature's last desperate experiment to reclaim balance, but the cost remains unknown. Poised between hope and horror, this early interaction between plastic and natural life raises unsettling questions. Are these polymer-eating pioneers the ocean's salvation or harbingers of a new, alien ecosystem we barely understand? What if whole new food chains begin to develop around plastic, feeding not on organic matter but synthetic debris? Could such a system thrive and expand, fundamentally changing ocean ecology? At the same time, these changes remain hidden beneath waves and darkness, out of sight, out of mind, deepening the sense of mystery. The ocean's surface, once a mirror of life's vitality, now shimmers with the unnatural. a world steadily shifting, evolving in response to human overload. Amid this growing plastic crisis, it's tempting to picture the oceans as victims, helplessly drowning in our waste. But the truth is far more complex and thrilling. The ocean is fighting back, evolving quietly and invisibly. The unfolding story is not just about destruction but about resilience, ingenuity, and the sheer tenacity of life. It invites us to wonder what strange creatures might be emerging in the twilight zones of the sea, borrowing tools from the human-made world, rewriting evolutionary rules on the fly. Could these polymer-eating organisms be the seeds of a new oceanic order? Or are they merely a temporary anomaly in a larger collapsing system? So as we wander the shorelines or gaze at the seas, consider this. The tide is not just rising physically with warming waters and melting ice, but metaphorically with the surge of plastic and life's mysterious counterattack. The ocean story is changing under our feet, blending the familiar and the unknown, the natural and the synthetic. It's a haunting reminder that every human action echoes across time and nature's domains. What will the legacy of our plastic age be? A graveyard of what once was, or a crucible for nature's most astonishing adaptations? The answers lie waiting beneath the waves, in a deep, dark, and quietly shifting marine world. Deep beneath the waves, where sunlight dares not venture, a quiet revolution stirs among the plastic invaders. Researchers aboard research vessels have begun to notice something profoundly unsettling on their equipment. Submarine cables, those vital lifelines snaking across the ocean floor, bear strange scars, jagged bites that defy explanation. Buoy chains dangle in tatters, and oil pipeline casings show unnatural grooves etched into their synthetic skins. At first, experts chalked it up to chemical corrosion from salty depths or mechanical stress from relentless currents. But closer inspection revealed a truth far more alive and hungry. Tiny cameras deployed into the abyss captured the culprits. Writhing mats of translucent worms, clustering like spectral veils over the plastic surfaces. These weren't random scavengers. They were feasting with purpose, their bodies pulsing in eerie unison. Genetic analysis of these deep-sea dwellers uncovered enzymes of astonishing power, capable of slicing through polyethylene and PVC like hot knives through butter. Polyethylene, the stuff of countless bags and bottles, and PVC from pipes and cables. Materials engineered to last forever, now succumb to biological siege. These enzymes, evolved in the pressure cooker of the Hadal zone, catalyze reactions that cleave stubborn carbon bonds with ruthless efficiency. Scientists watched in labs as samples dissolved, releasing faint chemical glows under UV light. Yet this discovery carried a chill. How long had these worms been down there, silently adapting to our waste? Had they always lurked, waiting for the plastic rain to fall? Or did humanity's pollution awaken something dormant, something ravenous? The ocean floor, once a graveyard of indigestibles, now hosts a banquet of the forbidden. Picture remote-operated vehicles gliding through inky blackness, their lights piercing veils of sediment to reveal these ghostly assemblies. The worms form dense colonies, their translucent bodies undulating in slow, hypnotic waves as they secrete digestive juices. Each mat spans meters, a living carpet devouring debris that has sunk from surface gyres. Fibers from fishing nets, fragments of bottles, even microplastics from marine snow, all vanish into their insatiable maws. But whispers among researchers hint at unease. These creatures don't just eat. They thrive, growing denser where plastic accumulates most. What fuels such rapid proliferation in a realm of scarcity? Could these worms be the vanguard of a larger shift, harbingers of life forms we cannot yet fathom? The footage loops endlessly in darkened control rooms, fueling both awe and quiet dread. Skepticism gripped the scientific community at first, as it often does with frontier discoveries. Dismissed as abrasion or acidic seawater, the evidence mounted relentlessly. Deep-sea amphipods, those scavenging crustaceans of the trenches, harbored microplastics in their hindguts. Nylon, polyethylene, even rayon fibers from depths over 10,000 meters. Studies from the Mariana Trench confirmed it. Plastic ingestion spans phyla, from deposit feeders to suspension grazers. Lanternfish and crustaceans in the Gulf of Mexico swallowed cellophane shards and paint resins. The deeper they dwelled, the more they consumed. Bacteria colonies on weathered plastics lured them, bioluminescent biofilms mimicking prey in the lightless void. Nature, it seems, mistakes our trash for sustenance, but at what hidden cost? This fascinated skepticism masks a deeper horror: the integration of synthetics into ancient food webs. Worms don't merely nibble. Their enzymes metabolize polymers into energy, fueling growth in barren expanses. Imagine trenches carpeted not in lifeless silt but in pulsing worm reefs, glowing faintly from bacterial symbiotes. Yet questions gnaw. Do these feasts release toxins, chaining poison up the web to colossal predators? Reports of fish with plastic-laden stomachs suggest yes. Biomagnification silently at work. The ocean's chemistry tilts, oxygen dips, mutations stir in unseen embryos. Is this adaptation a triumph or a trap, locking life into dependence on human refuse? The deep grows stranger, its mysteries coiling tighter. As ROVs probe further, the scale unnerves even hardened explorers. Mats thicken around garbage hotspots, worms intertwining into quasi-organisms vast and vein-like. Enzymes vary, some target PET from bottles, others polyurethane coatings, hinting at specialization races. Uncultured microbes from hadal sediments yield plastic-degrading genes, PETase and MHETase motifs evolving in isolation. These aren't lab curiosities. They're wild, untamed, thriving where we cannot follow. What evolutionary pressures forged such tools in mere decades? Did plastic snow select for the hungriest, winnowing weakness in Darwinian fury? The abyss whispers of acceleration, of life rewriting rules under pollution's yoke. Fascination battles foreboding as we ponder the implications. These polymer pioneers could cleanse the seas, dissolving our legacy into harmless chaff. Or they might spawn horrors. Superorganisms bloated on endless feedstock, drifting like plastic zombies toward shallows. Early signs abound: crustaceans fatter in polluted zones, worms spawning amid debris blooms. Humanity watches from afar, powerless in the face of nature's alchemy. Will these eaters save the ocean, or redefine it in our image, synthetic, resilient, utterly alien? The cameras catch fleeting shadows beyond the mats, larger forms circling patiently. Something watches the watchers, biding time in the dark. So the first eaters emerge from myth to reality, their discovery a threshold into the unknown. Skepticism fades before irrefutable footage, enzymes sequenced, bellies dissected. Yet the ocean holds its breath, pregnant with possibility and peril. These worms herald not just digestion but dominion, a new ecology birthed from waste. What giants might they nourish in shadowed canyons? How far will evolution stretch to claim our detritus? The deep sea, eternal and unforgiving, stirs with purpose. Dive deeper with me, for the feast has only just begun. Now we plunge into the abyss, that eternal midnight where light yields to crushing pressure and silence reigns supreme. Here in the mid-ocean trenches, evolution unfolds at a glacial pace, sculpting survivors from the unforgiving dark. But something has accelerated, a frenzy triggered by plastic snow cascading from the sunlit world above. This debris blankets the seafloor, transforming barren silt into synthetic sediment layers thick as fresh snowdrifts. Bioluminescent crustaceans emerge as the first harvesters, their tiny claws grazing on polymer-feeding bacteria that colonize the fallen trash. These bacteria, descendants of deep-sea microbes, secrete enzymes that nibble at polyethylene chains, releasing nutrients in the nutrient-starved void. Filter feeders, once reliant on rare organic detritus, now strain glowing plastic particulates from the currents, their bodies pulsing with unnatural vigor. The ecosystem awakens, alien and insistent, under the faint gleam of ROV headlights. Imagine marine snow no longer as flakes of dead plankton but laced with microplastics, descending like cursed confetti into the depths. Crustaceans scuttle across this new terrain, their compound eyes reflecting iridescent fragments of cellophane and nylon. Studies from the Gulf of Mexico reveal that deeper dwellers ingest more. Up to 29% of crustaceans harbor plastic in their guts, fibers from ship paint and clear films from packaging. These particles, weathered and biofilm-coated, mimic prey in the lightless realm, drawing scavengers like lanternfish that selective feed on the luminous bait. The trenches, once echoing voids, now hum with activity as deposit feeders burrow into plastic-enriched mud. Sea cucumbers extend feathery tentacles, sifting synthetic bounty alongside organic remnants. What was scarcity becomes surplus, but at a spectral cost, bodies bloating with indigestibles, mutations stirring in hidden broods. The deep transformation quickens, reshaping food webs in shadows unseen. Dense clusters form what researchers dub plastic coral, flexible, resilient structures built by filter-feeding anemones and zoanthids that encrust degraded polymers. These pseudo-reefs shimmer under submersible lights, bioluminescent bacteria lending an otherworldly glow like fractured neon trash. In the Mariana Trench, amphipods from 10,000 meters deep carry microfibers in their hindguts, nylon and polyethylene proving bioavailable even at hadal extremes. Sea pens sway in feeble currents, their polyps extended to capture drifting debris, internalizing synthetics as if nature decrees it so. Barnacles cement to bottle shards, squat lobsters prowl the edges, all part of a burgeoning web. Oxygen whispers through gills tainted by leachates, yet life proliferates, defying the toxic siege. Is this resilience or resignation, a triumph of adaptation or prelude to collapse? The cold, lightless world pulses with newfound energy, plastic snow fueling chains that span phyla from bacteria to mobile predators. Deposit feeders like polychaete worms tunnel through sediment laced with PVC fragments, their enzymes evolving to cleave stubborn bonds. Suspension feeders, sea cucumbers armored in regret, vacuum particles from the water column, passing plastics upward to fish that mistake them for marine snow. FTIR scans confirm the culprits. Rayon, lyocell, polyvinyl chloride, all ingested across trenches from Japan to Peru, Chile. Bioluminescence tricks the eye, bacteria on oxidized plastics glowing like phantom krill, luring the unwary. Crustaceans fatten in polluted zones, their exoskeletons hardening on polymer diets. Yet unease creeps in biomagnification looms, toxins concentrating in flesh untouched by surface eyes. The abyss builds its cathedrals from our waste, beautiful and foreboding. ROV footage captures the eerie ballet. Crustaceans darting through glowing thickets, filter feeders unfurling like spectral flowers amid debris ridges. Plastic coral resists decay, its lattice trapping rarer organics, amplifying biodiversity in barren expanses. From Kermadec to New Hebrides trenches, ingestion patterns hold, deeper organisms hungrier for the synthetic rain. Hermit crabs don shells of weathered bottles, squat lobsters feast on carrion laced with fibers. The food web inverts, plastics at its base, sustaining life where none should thrive. Emotional undercurrents stir, awe at nature's ingenuity, horror at the perversion. What evolutionary shortcuts does this forge, genes hijacked by human refuse? The transformation deepens, veils parting to reveal a realm remade. This alien ecosystem defies comprehension, glimmering like shards of a broken future under probing lights. Bacteria consortia on plastics exude scents that baffle olfactory senses, drawing predators into dependence. Lanternfish, key prey for larger fish, swallow fragments at rates climbing with depth. 26% tainted in midwaters. The hadal zone, once pristine isolation, integrates our pollution microplastic cycling through detritivores and carnivores alike. Plastic coral harbors juveniles, nurseries of the unnatural, where mutations brew unseen. Currents carry echoes of surface excess, ensuring endless supply. Questions haunt. Does this web stabilize or destabilize, cleanse or contaminate eternally? The deep, slow evolution races ahead, propelled by our folly. As ROVs retreat, the glow lingers and monitors, a hypnotic lure masking underlying dread. Crustaceans proliferate, their populations booming on polymer windfalls, outpacing organic baselines. Filter feeders evolve porous tissues for finer sieving, trapping ever smaller particulates. Trenches transform into hybrid habitats, organic and synthetic entwined in fragile harmony. Yet sonar anomalies flicker, vast forms gliding beneath the reefs, drawn by the bustle. Something larger hungers, patient in the pressure. The ecosystem gleams, but its light is borrowed, a phosphorescence born of invasion. Humanity's distant gaze falters. What have we seeded in the dark? The deep transformation heralds not just change but reckoning. Plastic snow birthing a biosphere of wonders and warnings. Crustaceans graze, corals accrue. Life claims the unclaimable. Yet shadows lengthen. Ominous pings echo from below, hinting at leviathans roused by abundance. Will this new order heal the ocean or hollow it from within? The abyss, eternal witness, stirs with secrets. Dive with me further, for beneath the plastic reefs, giants await their cue. The tone shifts now, turning eerie and awestruck as we chase fleeting glimpses through the abyss. Flashes of bioplastic fins slice the ROV beams, huge shadows twisting sinuously among the garbage ridges below. These new titans emerge not as flesh hunters but as devourers of polymer, colossal forms sculpted by evolution's desperate hand. Their stomachs churn with bacterial symbiotes, ecosystems honed to dissolve plastics into raw energy, breaking bonds that humanity deemed eternal. Ghost nets vanish into yawning maws, shipwrecks crumble under patient gnawing. Even vast plastic islands fragment in their wake. Drifting like ancient whales reborn, they scour the seafloor, propelled by currents laced with synthetic snow. No eyes witness their full majesty, only sonar ghosts and camera flickers. What leviathans have the depths birthed from our refuse? Bioplastic fins undulate with eerie grace, woven from digested polymers tougher than baleen, shimmering faintly from embedded microbes. Shadows span lengths rivaling blue whales, yet leaner, streamlined for endless gliding through debris fields. Inside, symbiotic bacteria feast on polyethylene, PVC, PET, enzymes like P-tase cleaving chains into monomers for cellular fuel. Studies hint at such potential. Ocean microbes evolve plastic tastes. Hadal enzymes degrade uncultured polymers at extreme pressures. These giants host entire microbiomes, churning toxins into biomass, excreting organic foam that seeds new reefs. Shipwrecks from world wars dissolve, cables fray into nutrient clouds. The horror dawns. Life not just tolerates but masters our indestructibles. Are they saviors or successors, claiming the sea we poisoned? Evolutionary routes tantalize the imagination, grounded in plausible mutations accelerated by plenty. Whales, starved by collapsing fisheries, repurpose krill filters for microplastic sieves, guts evolving bacterial partners over generations. Or cephalopods, squidkin, grow gargantuan, ink sacs repurposed for digestive acids, tentacles coiling around net tangles. Amphipods from trenches already ingest nylon, polyethylene at depths to 10,890 meters. Scale them up on endless feedstock. Lichenozoid hindguts brim with synthetics, polyamide, PVC, bioavailable even in Challenger Deep. Natural selection favors the hungriest, winnowing lineages in plastic-rich canyons. Bioluminescent lures draw prey debris alike, mutations stacking in isolated pressures. What if surface giants descend, or new clades ascend from primordial slime? Awe grips as footage stutters. A finned silhouette engulfs a buoy cluster, body rippling with internal alchemy. Stomachs resemble living refineries, pH extremes mirroring lab plastic eaters like Ideonella sicyensis scaled oceanic. Bacteria consortia recycle leachates, preventing self-poisoning, fueling muscle for slow, purposeful hunts. Ghost nets, killers of 1 million seabirds yearly, now nourish behemoths patrolling gyre edges. Shipwrecks yield iron supplements, hull plastics prime feasts. Plastic islands, continents of trash, erode under massed assaults, fragments raining to feed smaller kin. The mild horror seeps in. These eaters eclipse organic prey, webs inverting on synthetic base. Humanity's legacy fuels titans indifferent to our plight. Drifting ancient whale-like, they embody the abyss's patient tyranny. Migrations tracing debris depot centers worldwide. Fins propel through garbage gyres. Sonar pings revealing pods echoing whale songs warped by polymer resonance. Symbionts glow internally, mapping polymer veins like bioluminescent maps. Deep-sea ingestion spans phyla, barnacles, shrimp, cucumbers, priming trophic ladders to megafauna. Mariana amphipods at 72% plastic load suggest cascades upward. Evolutionary pressures compound. Abundant calories spur gigantism, isolation breeds novelty. Emotional undercurrents surge. Wonder at scale, dread at alienation. What hungers have we unwittingly crowned? Glimpses intensify. A tail fluke breaches sediment, scattering worm mats in panic. Stomach enzymes pulse, visualized in speculative models from Hadal microbe genes. Relics of civilization. Tires, drums, pallets. Succumb, reduced to chaff expelled in buoyant plumes. Populations swell in trenches like Kermadec, New Hebrides, where microfibers abound. Cephalopod routes posit ink clouds masking feasts, arms elongating to lasso flotsam. Whale repurposing leverages filter-feeding heritage, baleen fraying into polymer sieves. The unknown beckons. Do they communicate via plastic-derived pheromones? Shadows multiply, circling ROVs with curious prods. Eerie awe builds as scales emerge, lengths to 50 meters, masses dwarfing sperm whales. Bacterial guts process gigatons annually, rivaling krill swarms. Shipwrecks from decades past fuel growth spurts, hulls hollowed like rotten fruit. Nets trailing from fins snag more bounty, self-perpetuating harvests. Horror whispers. Toxins biomagnify despite detox, mutations birthing freakish progeny. Yet beauty captivates. Fins iridescent from recycled dyes, forms elegant in purpose. Questions probe. Will they surface, breaching amid fleets? Or rule unseen, reshaping depths forever? The giants claim dominion, our waste their throne. These polymer titans herald apocalypse or apotheosis, shadows promising revelations untold. Glimpses fade, but unease lingers. Populations burgeon, drifting toward illuminated shallows. What happens when abundance draws them upward, into our world? The abyss yields its guardians reluctantly, fins vanishing into murk. Evolution's gamble unfolds, humanity mere catalyst. Emotional tides crash. Terror at obsolescence, thrill at spectacle. Their cue approaches, surface-bound hunger's awakening. Brace for the giants' rise. Stormy seas, the horizon a blur of rolling mist, harbor a deepening mystery beneath the waves. Mariners report colossal shapes breaching amidst drifting debris fields, shadows emerging from murky depths to disturb the uneasy peace. Beaches are littered with shredded microplastics, but now these fragments behave strangely, transformed into a strange organic foam, pulsing like the breath of some vast undersea creature. At first, this seems like nature's cleansing miracle. Plastic, once a poison, broken down and recycled back into the ecosystem. But beneath this hopeful surface lies a harsher truth. Sensors scattered across the ocean detect alarming chemical shifts, depletion of oxygen, fluctuating nitrogen cycles, unexpected toxins. The very balance of marine life, once so finely tuned, tilts under these biochemical assaults. What does it mean when evolution's plastic solution disrupts the greater oceanic harmony? This biological unfolding refuses easy labels. It is both marvel and menace, a tension thrumming through each wave crest and trench echo. Massive filter feeders, once adapted to consuming microscopic plankton, now strain fluorescent plastic-derived particles. Yet their digestive systems handle more than food. They process toxic byproducts and synthetic additives that seep from the debris. These chemicals interfere with reproduction, growth, and neurological functions across a spectrum of species. Scientists studying marine oxygen minimum zones observe expansion in areas where these new organisms and their plastic-based food webs thrive. Poisonous feedback loops emerge, threatening larger fish, mammals, and ultimately the apex creatures that stabilize marine ecosystems. Evolution is solving the plastic problem, but at what cost to the ocean's health and our future? Every ecosystem relies on fragile networks, and the plastic eaters' feast rewrites these connections. The gigantic plastic-eating giants develop microbiomes that transform indigestibles into nutrients. Yet their metabolic processes emit gases altering ocean chemistry. Regions once vibrant with coral reefs face suffocation from algal blooms linked to these changes. Oxygen levels fall as microbial blooms consume vital resources, triggering dead zones where life flounders. Similarly, plastic breakdown products act like hormones, disrupting reproduction cycles of fish and crustaceans. What seemed like a hopeful solution is a double-edged sword, sustaining new life while destabilizing ancient balances. Humanity glimpses a future where the ocean reigns with a new order, one coated in polymers instead of plankton. Fishermen tell tales of colossal shadows looming under their boats, pale shapes larger than any whale breaching through polluted waters. Their stomachs gurgle with plastic foam and algae, and the creatures emit haunting bioluminescent glows, signaling complex chemical processes within. These giants glimmer with eerie beauty but carry biochemical scars, traces of poisonous plastics woven into their tissues. Meanwhile, fish populations dwindle, caught in the crossfire between expanding polymer-based plankton and toxic feedback loops. The giants are both gargantuan cleanup crews and unwitting agents of marine decline. Nature adapts with brutal efficiency, sculpting behemoths to digest what we discarded, yet destabilizing ecosystems humans depend on. How long before these giants breach human habitats, rewriting what it means to coexist? The ocean's silent zones, once mysterious, now echo with biochemical alarms. Oxygen depletion widens, marine life strains against shifting pH and increasing toxic loads. Microbial assemblages dominate dead zones, feeding on plastic fragments and exudates, releasing methane and other greenhouse gases. These processes not only threaten marine species but also contribute to climate change in complex feedback loops. Scientists warn that while these polymer cleanup giants perform essential ecological functions, their unchecked growth risks turning vital habitats into barren wastelands. The ocean is balancing on a knife's edge between renewal and collapse. The question looms: will this strange new biosphere heal the ocean or hollow it from within? Yet amid the crisis, researchers find strange patterns. Plastic-eating giants cluster around underwater volcanic ridges and hydrothermal vents. Could these hot spots provide chemical refuges, nourishing specialized microbiomes within these creatures? Some speculate evolution is weaving a new fabric of life, combining ancient chemosynthesis with modern plastic metabolism. These biomes could be engines for detoxification, recycling plastics with minimal harm. Or might they serve as incubators for genetic mutations, spawning unforeseen dangers? The curtain lifts just enough to reveal a biological drama both wondrous and unsettling. A ballet of atoms and enzymes choreographed under pressures we barely grasp. On the surface, the ocean's shimmer sometimes breaks into glimpses of these giants breaching, their phosphorescent fins slicing through plastic-stained waves. Coastal cities report foam beaches and strange scents as degraded polymers cycle through tidal systems. The delicate interplay of life and synthetic material signals a fundamental reshaping of oceanic identity. Human industry's long shadow has birthed a new an ocean ruled not by familiar creatures but by polymer-consuming titans. Their rise is a testament to life's outrageous adaptability, but shadowed by the specter of ecological upheaval. What remains of the vibrant blue labyrinth our ancestors knew? Has evolution's answer to plastic become a new riddle of survival and dominance? In this tension between admiration and dread, humanity watches a vast transformation unfold. Our pollution has birthed strange oceanic sentinels, immense and alien, part machine, part organism. The plastic problem isn't gone. Instead, it has mutated, evolving in the deepest places and now surfacing with consequences we are only beginning to understand. The ocean breathes new mysteries, its pulse marked by glowing giants and toxic tides. We are mere witnesses to evolution's ruthless rewrite, caught between rescue and ruin. The question remains: can we learn from these oceanic titans before their reign reshapes our world irrevocably? The answer lies deep, where light fades and mysteries dwell. The ocean's surface, once a mirror of pure blue, now quivers with strange phenomena rippling through plastic-laden waters. Fishermen and sailors alike tell tales of vast, shadowy shapes breaching unexpectedly amid the floating debris fields. These are no ordinary whales or sharks but new giants born from the depths, their bodies adapted to feast on humanity's discarded polymers. Around them, the waves shimmer strangely as shredded microplastics swirl into organic foams, byproducts of digestion that spread across beaches and coastal waters. It may appear a cleansing balm, the ocean recycling itself, but beneath this surface beauty lurks a biochemical storm. Widespread sensor networks detect alarming signs: dissolved oxygen plummeting, nitrogen cycles disrupting, toxic chemical concentrations spiking. The balance of life, finely tuned for millions of years, now teeters on the brink of upheaval. How does evolution solve our plastic problem without unraveling the ocean's ancient harmony? This evolving ecosystem defies simple categorization. It is a paradox of wonder and unease. Gigantic filter feeders, descendants of plankton grazers, now sift fluorescent plastic particulates trapped in waters once dominated by microscopic life. Their digestive tracts do more than process sustenance. They metabolize harmful synthetic additives and plastic byproducts, spreading chemical stress throughout their bodies and beyond. Scientists studying expanding oceanic oxygen minimum zones link these changes directly to the rising prevalence of polymer-consuming species. Toxic feedback loops emerge. Vital fish and mammals face reproductive failures and neurological impairments fueled by this altered food web. Evolution's answer to plastic invokes progress and peril intertwined. Could this be nature's ruthless blueprint for survival, or a harbinger of irreversible damage? Ecosystems are webs of delicate relationships, and the new plastic eaters rewrite these linkages at every level. These gigantic giants cultivate diverse microbiomes, converting indigestible polymers into nutrients, while their metabolic activities emit gases that alter ocean chemistry. Coral reefs, already fragile, suffer suffocation from algal blooms intensified by these biochemical shifts. Oxygen-starved dead zones spread and deepen, killing off countless marine species. Breakdown products of plastics mimic hormones, disrupting fish and crustacean reproduction. What began as a hopeful cleanup turns into a complex dilemma, a balancing act between creating new life systems and destroying historic ones. As humanity grapples with this ocean rebirth, questions remain. Is this new order sustainable, or a slow collapse masked by adaptation? Stories from the fishing communities add emotional texture to this evolving mystery. Massive, pale shapes glide beneath their boats, breaching with unearthly grace, their glowing fins illuminating the polluted water. These giants have stomachs filled with plastic foams and algae, a glowing testament to the synthetic diet. But evidence of poisonous polymers embedded in their tissues tells a darker tale. Fish stocks decline in their shadows, caught between the expansion of polymer-based plankton and the toxic consequences of chemical bioaccumulation. These creatures are both ocean guardians and unwitting agents of the ecosystem's decline. Nature's brutal efficiency reshapes lifeforms to feast on our waste, while undermining the delicate marine balance. How soon before these giants encroach upon human domains, reshaping coastal ecosystems and livelihoods? The silent zones beneath the waves intensify their biochemical alarms. Oxygen depletion zones widen, driven by microbial blooms that thrive on plastic debris and wastes. Methane and other greenhouse gases bubble anew, fueling climate feedback loops with unpredictable ramifications. Scientists warn that though these polymer-consuming giants are crucial recyclers, their rampant population growth risks transforming vital habitats into wastelands. The ocean is poised precariously between rejuvenation and ruin. This delicate equilibrium raises urgent questions. Will the strange new biosphere evolve towards balance, or spiral into ecological desolation? The answers remain submerged, hidden in the darkest ocean realms where light never penetrates. In a curious twist, research reveals that plastic-eating giants seek out underwater volcanic ridges and hydrothermal vents. These chemical oases may nurture specialized microbiomes capable of accelerating plastic metabolism. Evolution may be crafting a hybrid biosphere where ancient chemosynthesis and modern polymer digestion fuse into new life strategies. These vent refuges could host detoxification centers, recycling plastics with remarkable efficiency while minimizing toxic fallout. Or they might serve as crucibles for unpredictable genetic mutations and emerging ecological threats. The ocean's hidden drama unfolds as we glimpse this delicate dance of life and chemistry, layered with both hope and dread. Breaking the ocean's surface, these giants sometimes reveal their phosphorescent forms, breaching amidst plastic-tainted waves. Coastal populations observe glowing foam beaches and strange odors as degraded polymers cycle through tides and currents. The interplay of synthetic and natural life marks a fundamental shift in ocean identity. The era of human dominance yields to creatures shaped by plastic-based metabolisms. Their rise symbolizes life's remarkable adaptability and the shadow cast by ecological upheaval. Questions linger. How much of the ancient blue wilderness remains? Do these polymer-consuming titans herald a new age or a fading legacy for the oceans we once knew? In the tension between fascination and fear lies the profound truth of our times. Pollution has birthed immense, alien sea sentinels, part living organism, part biochemical processor. The plastic problem has not disappeared. It has transformed, rapidly evolving in deep-sea niches and now rising to the surface with grave consequences. The ocean breathes new mysteries, pulsing with glowing giants and toxic tides. Evolution's rewrite of ocean life invites humbling reflection. We watch as nature claims dominion over our waste, caught between extinction and emergence. The question remains haunting. Can humanity learn from these titans before their reign reshapes or erases what remains of our marine heritage?